Another week, another winner on tour as the 2023 Honda Classic comes to pass in Palm Beach Gardens. Chris Kirk winning on the first playoff hole, bettering Eric Cole by one. Cards a birdie in the playoff hole. Cole only able to make par. Kirk did have a one-shot lead walking down 18, but rinses one, backpedals into that spot, but then wins it in the playoff, collecting his first PGA Tour win since 2015 at the Colonial. Chris Kirk, a winner again. And for more on this week's winner and beyond, we say hello to CBS Sports data analyst and host of the First Cut podcast, Rick Gehman. Rick, for the first time since 2015, Chris Kirk finds himself in that winner's circle, rinses one at the 72nd, backpedals into the playoff. The resolve to head back up 18, put your peg in the ground, and then go win a golf tournament. No doubt something to be celebrated here.
Winning is never easy on the PGA Tour, Joe. You know that. Chris Kirk showed us again for the 3 millionth time that winning is hard there on the 72nd hole. But I'm glad you talked about resilience. You know, after the victory, he was asked on the 18th green, you know, what are you feeling right now? What's going through your mind? And one of the first things that he described that he was thankful for was his sobriety. And he has been very open and honest about his struggles with alcohol abuse and depression. It's been about 3.5 years since he took an indefinite leave of absence from the PGA Tour, and that alone in the resilience to get back onto the tour, earn your card, contend, compete, put yourself in a high-pressure, high-leverage position like this that you have not been in nearly 8 years. Yeah, just impressive all around. So this is a very easy story to root for, in that Chris Kirk is now back in the winner's circle for the 5th time in his career.
Yeah, a hat tip and a golf clap, no doubts, in order here for Chris Kirk. By the numbers, Rick, where did he separate this week?
Yeah, he was phenomenal throughout the bag. The one thing that you'll notice is from tee to green, he was absolutely stout. And you heard it throughout the week, especially on the broadcast, how much he likes to hit that draw. And a lot of trouble lurks around PGA National in the form of water and in the form of some bunkers around the fairways that kind of leave you in some awkward spots. And generally the trouble is on the right-hand side of holes, not exclusively, but for the most part. And to be able to hit the draw that he hits, a tight little baby draw from tee to green, really allows himself to be in better positions than the rest of the field. And of course, if you're going to win a tournament on the PGA Tour, if you're going to go 14 deep at PGA National, you're going to have to putt well, Joe. But I believe it was his ability to strike it not only well all week, but from right to left that really put him in a competitive edge this week.
Social media will also tell us that our guy Rick Gehman also working on that right to left ball flight. We've been watching, right, Rick. You know, these non-designated weeks, it's going to create opportunity for guys further down the world golf rankings like Kirk, like Cole and Duncan. No big boppers in the field, obviously has its drawbacks, but we still get quite a show here on Sunday. Is this in a way beneficial for the depth of talent on tour to get that type of experience on a Sunday chasing the big check?
I believe that there are two things that drive viewership or drive interesting stories. One of them is star power. That is not unique to golf. We see it across the world of sport, in NFL, in the NBA. We are living in a star-driven sports universe. The other thing, Joe, and what we saw this week at the Honda Classic, is context. And when you have an event where nearly every single player is playing for their career, is playing for the chance to alter that career, is playing for the most money they've ever won, is playing for an opportunity to do this again in the future, that's the context that is really enthralling. And, you know, Kyle Porter, who's also on the First Cut pod here, he is so adamant about almost having two tours at this point, where you have this elevated tour and then you have the tour that we kind of saw at the Honda Classic, and both can be successful. And I completely agree with this sentiment, because that elevated tour that we have, where all the best players in the world, that's going to be great for star power. It's going to be great for money. It's going to be great for legacy. And then this tour, what we saw at the Honda Classic with context and these gritty stories and Monday qualifiers, they can coexist as long as we have that context each and every week.
I always do a great job of telling those stories on the First Cut. Download and subscribe today. You allude to it there, from the Golden Bear to the King. Next week, again, we elevate at API. 44 of the top 50 in the world will be on hand. Another 3.6 million winners share. What's got your attention here in the days to come as all of the, let's say, big boppers get together once again?
You mentioned it, Joe. 44 of the top 50 in the world. That's the most top 50 players in a single field since the 2022 Open Championship. That's when Cam Smith outdueled Rory McIlroy at St. Andrews. So it's been a while since we've gotten a field this top heavy. And I think we're just still learning and evolving what these elevated events are going to be. And we've got a couple of really good champions in Scotty Scheffler in Phoenix, obviously John Rahm in Los Angeles at Riviera last week. And then looking forward, like, are we going to continue this trend? Is this just going to be where one of the best, one of the world's elite goes out and wins every single one of these elevated events? Or is someone like a Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin, guys that we've seen kind of contend over the last couple of weeks, are they going to steal one? And then the secondary story here is Rory McIlroy did not have himself a particularly great week in Phoenix, didn't have a particularly great week in Los Angeles. But when you look at what Rory McIlroy has done at Bay Hill, and you talk about horses for courses, he is basically the horse for the course. You know, he has some of the best numbers at Bay Hill as any golfer has at any golf course on the PGA Tour schedule. So really looking to see if he'll be able to kind of flip the switch a little bit and get back on track.
We will see if he can slip into Arnie's red cardigan once again, but we know he's got an eye on a different garment later on this season. Rick Gehman, thank you as always. And don't forget, there's only one place to be for all your tour needs. That's the First Cut Podcast. Our guys break it down round by round, giving you winning picks and can't miss stories day in and day out. Download, subscribe, and enjoy the First Cut Podcast.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.